In Revenge of the Sith, there is a crucial moment where Darth Sidious believes that his apprentice, Darth Vader, is in danger, sensing his confrontation with his former master in Obi-Wan Kenobi on Mustafar, and sensing that Darth Vader was unprepared for his master, or at least that his newfound power in the dark side of the Force may be slightly unfounded, and that Obi-Wan may be gaining the upper edge. This is an important moment for several reasons. However, it has grand implications about 13 years earlier. About 13 years ago, as the time of Revenge of the Sith, is when Darth Maul himself was defeated again by a Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi on the world of Naboo. However, unlike this moment where Darth Sidious is able to sense that Anakin is in mere danger, Palpatine never sensed that Darth Maul survives this encounter with Obi-Wan, despite being cut in half. So why exactly is this? Well, the Legends explanation and canon explanation is actually quite interesting and in-depth, and goes a long way to explain exactly why Darth Sidious was unable to sense that Darth Maul survived his duel with Obi-Wan, and that Darth Maul would return from the dead nearly 12 years later. What's interesting about Palpatine finally receiving confirmation that Maul survived is that it actually comes directly from Anakin Skywalker, and that Palpatine not only does not sense Darth Maul initially being defeated and cut in half, nor his survival, but he actually fails to sense his return. So why is this? We know based on previous Star Wars lore that individuals that have a strong connection with one another can actually feel their presence in the Force despite how far away they are. We know that Ahsoka Tano can sense the distress of Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith, despite him being thousands of light years away, and she can actually feel Anakin Skywalker die within the Force during the events of Revenge of the Sith and his transition into Lord Vader. We also know that Palpatine can continually sense Lord Vader, as well as Darth Vader sense Obi-Wan Kenobi through the Force. So what exactly makes Darth Maul so different? Or rather, what coincided with Darth Maul's defeat at the hands of Obi-Wan Kenobi that caused Palpatine not to search for him, and not to even reach out through the Force at all to confirm that his apprentice was in fact killed? Palpatine trained Darth Maul for nearly 2 decades to be the perfect Sith assassin, and it could be said that he did form a legitimate attachment with the Night Brother. The answer to this actually has nothing to do with Darth Maul, but rather revolves around Darth Plagueis. In the Darth Plagueis novelization, it is revealed that the death of Darth Plagueis actually directly coincides with the defeat of Darth Maul, with Palpatine astounded by this and believing that it must have been the will of the Force that 2 Sith Lords were eliminated nearly instantaneously, and it was essentially the death of Darth Plagueis that clouded Palpatine's mind. But there's actually a lot more to this. After Darth Plagueis' death, Palpatine was not overcome with relief of being the one true Dark Lord of the Sith and the reigning Dark Lord. However, he was overcome with a huge sense of dread and almost regret for killing his master. At the time, Palpatine speculated that this could have been Darth Plagueis reaching out to him from beyond the veil, and Palpatine was quite nervous that Darth Plagueis had actually discovered how to cheat death, and had accomplished his goal without Darth Sidious ever being aware of it, which shook him to his very core. Palpatine could sense the Force around him changing and altering, and even though he hypothesized this was the dark side of the Force proclaiming him the one Dark Lord, this is not the feeling that he had expected. Palpatine even states in the Darth Plagueis novelization that he can feel something that is dark side oriented that he cannot put his finger on and that he cannot pinpoint, believing that it is in fact the dark side presence of Darth Plagueis reaching out to Palpatine from beyond the veil of death. So what exactly does this all have to do with Darth Maul and Maul's survival and why Palpatine was unable to sense him? Well, it basically goes to illustrate that the Force around Palpatine himself was clouded, and it could be said that at this point in time, Palpatine's rule was at its most uncertain point. He was now the one true Sith Lord. However, he sensed that something was off, and it was this obsession that there was something wrong, and that Plagueis may still be there, that caused Palpatine to not even sense the death of Darth Maul, or apparent death. But the answer actually goes much deeper than this. When Palpatine arrives at Naboo at the end of The Phantom Menace, he is not even interested in searching for Darth Maul, and he actually takes the Jedi account that Obi-Wan Kenobi defeated him as purely factual, as Palpatine saw no reason for the Jedi to lie. Palpatine at this point in time was also massively disappointed in Maul. He was impressed that he had been able to take down one of the most notable Jedi Masters at the time in Qui-Gon Jinn, but he was also hugely disappointed that Darth Maul took this time to gloat and did not finish the job, therefore leaving himself open to a perfect attack from a Padawan Obi-Wan Kenobi, something that Palpatine considered disrespectful to the lineage of the Sith, as he blamed himself for the poor training of Maul and not teaching him to get rid of his enemy as quickly as possible. It is also because of this reason that Palpatine decided not to reach out through the Force and decided that Darth Maul was ultimately lost. Now though that we've analyzed it from Darth Sidious's point of view, let's look at it from Maul's point of view. It is revealed from the Darth Maul comic book series that Darth Maul was barely alive when he was cut in half by Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that he was barely conscious for any of it. Many people underestimate just how grave Maul's injuries truly were, but it was legitimately only his rage that was causing him to cling to the physical plane of existence. And had Darth Maul not been so rageful, he would absolutely have died of his injuries, and he was exceptionally close. Perhaps it was even part of the anger that Darth Sidious did not look for him that kept him alive. However, again, he was barely conscious. Beyond this though, Palpatine decided not to reach out to Maul through the Force because he had two prime candidates to train for his next apprentice. He had already discovered that Dooku was becoming more and more disillusioned with the Jedi Order, and believed that he would be a valuable Sith apprentice under the command of the now one true Dark Lord, causing Palpatine to revert all of his focus onto Dooku and regretting even training Darth Maul in the first place. Not to mention, Darth Sidious became utterly fascinated with Anakin Skywalker, and it was at the end of The Phantom Menace that Palpatine decided that he needed to have Anakin as his apprentice, and that he decided that one day the boy would become a Dark Lord of the Sith in his own respect. So how does this all relate to Maul? Well, obviously it means that Palpatine's vision was clouded after the death of Darth Plagueis, and that he was utterly disappointed with Maul and had two prime candidates ready and willing to replace him, or at least one that was willing to replace him and one that he saw a bright future for. And it was at this point in time that Maul was in the Outer Rim and Darth Sidious was unable to detect him even if he had tried. But why exactly was Palpatine unable to sense Darth Maul after he returned to glory and began training an apprentice of his own? Well, I believe that Darth Maul may have actually intentionally attempted to hide his Force signature from Palpatine. In the entirety of all of his appearances, we see that Darth Maul only really ever fears one individual, and that is Palpatine. He doesn't even really fear the power of Anakin Skywalker, as we hear in his conversation with Ahsoka in Clone Wars Season 7, where he believes that he can actually defeat Anakin. However, again, he does fear Darth Sidious, and he knows that if anybody is going to stop him, it's not going to be the Jedi, it's going to be his former master. And that is why I believe that Darth Maul actually took great steps and used the teachings of Palpatine against him and hid his Force signature from Sidious, which is the major contributing reason why Palpatine was unable to sense the return of Maul even after he had returned to prominence. But anyway, my friends, what are your thoughts on this? And what are your thoughts on why Palpatine did not sense that Darth Maul survived? And do you think that this explanation ultimately makes sense? Also, what are your thoughts on our personal theory why he did not sense that Maul had returned to prominence in the galaxy? And do you think that Maul took steps to hide his Force presence from Palpatine? As always, my friends, if you enjoy this daily Star Wars lore, reach out and Force crush that subscribe button, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.